Okay, so I had a delivery of some toys this week. I went down to Phil Post to collect, and I thought, let's have a look at what's in them on the weekend, because I'm rather busy at work these days and usually get home in the evening, decide what I'm going to do, and instead of actually settling down to do it, drop off to sleep watching TV. I know, it's an age thing. So first off, the stuff that came in from Baccus. I'd ordered some Napoleonics. I've actually got a number of Napoleonic figures already that I've either started painting or that are in the lead pile. I have enough Prussians from about the 1813, 1815 period from Ross Heroics and Ross rather, to build a strong Prussian force to take onto the battlefield. And I have a Polish corps from Adler to paint up, as well as some other buggers who I can't actually think of that other one I've got tucked away in the box at the moment. I think I'll need to have a look later. But what I decided was probably nice to start to pick up some of the minor nations figures. So I thought, some Dutch Belgians will work nicely. So I put an order into Baccus, and Baccus sent me some figures. So we'll have a look at them. And as with Baccus, normally they come very well packaged. The box survives the vagaries of both the international transport system as well as the best efforts of Phil Post locally. So let's see what we got. First off, some British Flank Company figures in Belgic Shaco skirmishes, basically. And these are really quite nice castings from Baccus. They have a lot of action and, well sculpted, nice muskets, guys skirmishing, shooting, moving and so on. And they're there to provide some of the skirmishes that were used by the Dutch Belgians, particularly around Waterloo and Quatre Bras. Excuse my awful French. I do apologise for that. Okay, we've got some Belgian militia in Shakos, and some Belgian militia skirmishing. It's the same thing, some light troops to go out in front, and again, these are quite nice figures as well, as you can see. Definition's good. Similar poses to the British Flank Companies, but they should come up quite nicely on the tabletop. I'm thinking for these figures that I'll base them on the 60mm by 30mm frontage bases that were used by Polemos Napoleonic rules, but that will allow me to use 2 or 3 different rule sets on them as I want to. Some of it could be Carnage and Glory, which is computer based, so it doesn't really require single figures, or I could use the Impetus Guys Napoleonic variation, which is being written and tested as we speak. Excuse me. Or any rules that rely on full base rather than requiring bases to be stripped down and figures to be taken off to represent casualties. Okay, so we also have some Dutch line infantry in skirmish order. So again, lovely little figures, and again the figures are in the same style as the other skirmishes, with a couple of guys moving forward or loading and another couple of guys actually shooting. So they'll provide some nice variation on the bases when they're placed out there. the sort of ring-in packet is the Napoleonic Austrian generals. I picked these up so that I've got some. I'll get some out. We'll try. Got some guys in that look like general type figures and can be converted or painted to represent various luminaries. So, you know, we've got them in the terrible Austrian shakos worn side by side. Come on, come into focus. Where are you? There we go. So there's a pile of generals in here, in some in different hats. So they'll be useful for those officers that I need to put together. Now, the most interesting part, I picked up the Napoleonic Brunswick Corps pack from Baccus, and this contains enough figures, I'm presuming, using polemos basing, to put together pretty much the Black Brunswickers. So there's the line infantry. As you can see, it's got that nice big shako that we seem to associate with the Brunswickers. I'm thinking these aren't going to be that terribly difficult to paint quickly, given that most of the uniform was black. And we've got some of the hussars, or the light cavalry hussars. What's that? The Leib Guard, whatever it was. So again, nice, really nice cuts, clean cuts from Baccus. Down the bottom here, we've got some of the Lancer figures that the Brunswickers had as well. So again, I'm quite looking forward to painting these guys. I haven't painted any Napoleonic figures for a long time, and for a long time I mean probably about 8 years was when I last put brush to the Prussians that I have, and I still have a huge quantity of those to get through as well, I must admit. I never did get around to finishing those, but we'll get onto them later. Lastly, we have, well, we'll go through two things. First off, the Brunswick, Netherlands and Hanoverian flags for using on the figures, so I don't have to try and paint those, or in fact pull them down off the internet and resize them and go through all of that pain. But as you can see, there's the infantry colours, for 4 lots of infantry colours for the Dutch, for the Hanoverians, the Field Battalion Hoya, Field Battalion Kallenberg and so on. For Nassau, the infantry regiments 1 and 2, and then underneath here, where you can't quite see, would be the battalions Farn, Herzogsfarn and so on for the Brunswickers. So, last thing that I got, and I should show you what's in here at least, because I know we wargamers all love living vicariously, especially when it comes to looking at other guys' figures, and this is going to prove a little bit of a challenge to do one-handed, so let me get blurry for a minute. And I really must get a decent stand to put the phone in so that I don't have to do this one-handed. So for the Dutch, I mean, there's lots. So we've got the line infantry, a huge quantity of those. And that's for both the regulars and the militias. More line infantry. Bring on Waterloo, I think. We've got Dutch cavalry, light horse. Sorry, not light horse, dragoons, light dragoons and so on. And of course, some things to make loud banging noises, artillery pieces. Okay, I'm not going to open those packets too much. I mean, the quality of the Baccus figures is always very, very good. So I think I'll just leave that at this now and pop this up on YouTube, and then later tonight or probably tomorrow I might have a look at, no, I will have a look at the contents of the other parcel, which is this somewhat larger job, which is full of modern French underneath the paper. So I'll unbox that tomorrow night. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Just for the record, if you're curious, there's the state of my painting table at the moment. Yes, I'm working on some aircraft, and tucked away over the side here is friend Anthony's World War II British that I'm working on. They're my roadblocks still at the moment. I won't start painting anything else until I get these guys finished. And I've painted them and I washed them, but I'm not happy with the color after the wash. If I bring one over and show you, since washing, the brown, come on, into focus, hello, there you go. Okay, come back a bit, go forward. Can someone tell me the easy way to get these guys to focus? There must be a nice simple method. I don't want to appear a techno cripple, because I'm generally quite good, but sometimes it just defeats me. Okay, under the light. But you can see there, I know it's not too clear, but you can see that these figures, which are 20 millimeter, when I did the brown wash, I lost all the webbing and strapping detail on it. At the same time, I got a slight glossy sheen on the British uniform and the brown and the equipment green. And lastly, I didn't really get much in the way of the highlights that I'd expect from the wash. So the fingers have become clear, but nothing else has really worked all that well. So I want to maybe do some heavy dry brushing across that and perhaps try a second or a different wash next time. I did try the Citadel Seraphim Sepia, so maybe that was the issue. Maybe next time I'll go back to Army Painter's Brown Shade and see what it turns up like. Okay, well that's that for the time being. I'll talk to you again soon. In the meantime, apologies for the quality of this. I'll get better as the time goes by. First thing I think I should purchase next is something to store this on. And maybe one last look. There's my 6mm Romans that are being repurposed and have been being repurposed for about 8 months now, and I've never got around to quite doing the rebasing and touching up the shields yet. So, typical wargamer, more projects on the go than I can poke a stick at. I might slip out later. This is the McCarthy skyline looking towards Manila Bay at night. So I might slip out later and have a bite to eat and perhaps a pint of Dr. Feelgood, and then come back and maybe start to look at working on those Brits for Anthony. Talk to you later, guys. Good night.